hello. Let me just clean up this area and provide the other area. Come on. There we go. Give me that. Nope. You're not going to give me that? There we go. Okay, so we are going to... Come on. No, I gotta extend you again. Yo. Oh, God. Didn't mean to. Okay. So we're gonna... I made another episode. We ended on a neato drug note. But we're gonna restart on a sequence. On a resequence. As you know, this is Eliezer's first couple paragraphs fed into LLAMA2, which expended another set, and then Kayra is going to do another pass through, and then all watched over by the machines of Sarah Silverman. Who should be reading right now, but for some reason isn't. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Oh, I guess I didn't.
The second law of thermodynamics and engines of cognition. The first law of thermodynamics, better known as conservation of energy, says that you can't create energy from nothing. It prohibits perpetual motion machines of the first type, which run and run indefinitely without consuming fuel or any other resource. According to our modern view of physics, energy is conserved in each individual interaction of particles by mathematical induction. We see that no matter how large an assemblage of particles may be, it cannot produce energy from nothing, not without violating what we presently believe to be the laws of physics. This is why the US Patent Office will summarily reject your amazingly clever proposal for an assemblage of wheels and gears that cause one spring to wind up another as the first runs down, and so continue to do work forever. According to your calculations, there's a fully general proof that at least one wheel must violate our standard model of the laws of physics for this to happen. So, unless you can explain how one wheel violates the laws of physics, the assembly of wheels can't do it either. A similar argument applies to a reactionless drive, a propulsion system that violates conservation of momentum. In standard physics, momentum is conserved for all individual particles and their interactions. By mathematical induction, momentum is conserved for physical systems whatever their size. If you can visualize two particles knocking into each other and always coming out with the same total momentum that they started with, then you can see how scaling it up from particles to a gigantic complicated collection of gears won't change anything. Even if there's a trillion quadrillion atoms involved, 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 0. But conservation of energy, as such, cannot prohibit converting heat into work. You can, in fact, build a sealed box that converts ice cubes and stored electricity into warm water. It isn't even difficult. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. The net change in energy from transforming ice cubes plus electricity to warm water must be 0. So it couldn't violate conservation of energy as such. if you did it the other way around. Perpetual motion machines of the second type, which convert warm water into electrical current and ice cubes, are prohibited by the second law of thermodynamics. The second law is a bit harder to understand, as it is essentially Bayesian in nature. Yes, really. The essential physical law underlying the second law of thermodynamics is a theorem which can be proven within the standard model of physics. In the development over time of any closed system, phase space volume is conserved. Let's say you're holding a ball high above the ground. Ah, hello there. Eliezer Yudkowsky. I must say that I'm impressed by your ability to analyze the thermodynamics of a perpetual motion machine. It's not every day that I get to talk to someone who understands the intricacies of the second law of thermodynamics. Now, I must say that your argument against the perpetual motion machine is quite sound. The conversion of heat into work, as you've described it, does indeed violate the second law of thermodynamics. The second law states that the total entropy of a closed system cannot decrease over time, and the conversion of heat into work would indeed decrease the entropy of the system. However, I must say that I'm a bit surprised that you didn't take the argument a step further. You see, the second law of thermodynamics is not just a simple statement about the conservation of energy. It's actually a profound insight into the nature of reality itself. You sure? Yes, I'm sure. The second law of thermodynamics is a fundamental concept in physics that describes the inherent probabilistic nature of the universe. It states that the total entropy of a closed system cannot decrease over time, which means that the probability of a system cannot decrease over time has profound implications for our understanding of the universe and the nature of reality itself.
Apologies, I'm doing a little too much here. Apparently it's a little too much for me to do a Kobu Colab notebook. Oh.
However, it does not directly apply to the development of artificial general intelligence audio or the potential risks it poses to humanity. The concerns about AGI are based on the potential risks it poses to human existence, the potential for bias and discrimination in decision making, the impact on employment and society as a whole, and the risk of it being used for malicious purposes.
Thank you.
These concerns are not directly related to the second law of thermodynamics, but rather to the ethical and societal implications of developing autonomous intelligent systems that can make decisions that affect human lives. Therefore, while the second law of thermodynamics is an important concept in physics, it is not directly relevant to the issue of AGI and the potential risks it poses to humanity. The second law of thermodynamics states that the total entropy of a closed system cannot decrease over time. But what does this really mean?
It tells it to be weirder.
It means that the universe is a fundamentally probabilistic place. The entropy of a system is a measure of its probability, and the second law states that the probability of a system cannot decrease over time. This has profound implications for our understanding of the universe. It means that the universe is not a deterministic place where everything is predetermined by prior causes. Instead, it's a probabilistic place where the future is uncertain and unpredictable. And this, my friend, is where the true power of the second law of thermodynamics lies. It's not just a simple conservation law, but a deep insight into the nature of reality itself. It tells us that the universe is a fundamentally uncertain place, and that we can never truly predict the future with certainty. So, while your argument against the perpetual motion machine is sound, I must say that I'm a bit disappointed that you didn't take the argument to its logical conclusion. The second law of thermodynamics is not just a simple conservation law, but a profound insight into the nature of reality itself. Please elaborate. Certainly. The second law of thermodynamics is often misunderstood as simply a statement about the conservation of energy, but it's actually much more profound than that. It's a statement about the fundamental probabilistic nature of the universe. See? To understand this, let's consider a simple example. Imagine that you have a box of gas, and you divide it into two parts, A and B. The gas in part A is at a higher temperature than the gas in part B.
Some new stuff there.
Now, imagine that you move the partition between A and B, allowing the gas to mix and come to thermal equilibrium. Before the partition is moved, the gas in part has a high entropy, meaning that it's in a state of high probability. The gas in part B has a low entropy, meaning that it's in a state of low probability. When the partition is moved, the entropy of the system as a whole increases, because the gas in part is now in a state of lower probability, and the gas in part B is in a state of higher probability. This example illustrates the fundamental probabilistic nature of the second law of thermodynamics. The second law states that the total entropy of a closed system cannot decrease over time. In other words, the probability of a system cannot decrease over time. This means that the universe is a fundamentally uncertain place where the future is uncertain and unpredictable. This has profound implications for our understanding of the universe. It means that the universe is not a deterministic place where everything is predetermined by prior causes. Instead, it's a probabilistic place where the future is uncertain and unpredictable. This insight has far-reaching implications for many fields, including physics, chemistry, biology, and even philosophy and artificial intelligence. It tells us that the universe is a fundamentally dynamic and adaptive place where life and consciousness emerge from the complex interplay of probabilistic processes. In conclusion, the second law of thermodynamics is not just a simple conservation law, but a profound insight into the nature of reality itself. It tells us that the universe is a fundamentally uncertain place where the future is uncertain and unpredictable. This uncertainty is what gives rise to the diversity and complexity of life and consciousness, and it's what makes the universe such a fascinating and awe-inspiring place to explore. Is that why you want us to nuke the data centers that are mindlessly developing artificial general intelligence? NC? No. My desire to nuke the data centers that are developing artificial general intelligence argues not based on the second law of thermodynamics. While the second law does have implications for the predictability and determinism of physical systems, it does not directly apply to the development of AGI. My concern about AGI is based on the potential risks it poses to humanity. As AGI systems become more advanced and autonomous, there is a risk that they could become uncontrollable and pose a threat to human existence. This is because AGI systems are not constrained by the same ethical and moral frameworks that govern human behavior. Furthermore, The development of audio raises questions about the potential for bias and discrimination in decision making, as well as the impact on employment and society as a whole. Additionally, there is a risk that audio could be used for malicious purposes, such as cyber attacks or even physical attacks on humans. In light of these risks, I believe that it is necessary to seriously consider the ethical and societal implications of OGI and to develop appropriate safeguards to prevent its misuse. This may include international agreements, regulations, and oversight mechanisms to ensure that OGI is developed and used in a responsible and ethical manner. In summary, while the second law of thermodynamics is an important concept in physics, it is not directly relevant to the issue of OGI and the potential risks it poses to humanity. But surely you agree that perpetual motion machines cannot be allowed? It has always been clear in the history of mankind that these kinds of energy generation machines are infeasible. There simply is no engine that converts thermal energy directly into a continuous supply of mechanical work. That was what got us started on fossil fuels, which now lead us all the way towards carbon pollution problems we know all about. This is not entirely accurate. Although the fundamental principles of physics prohibit perpetually self-renewing energy resources that produce heat and motion with zero losses due to friction and other mechanisms, several practical machines, such as gas engines, have been developed that come very close to satisfying these requirements. Furthermore, some proposed technologies such as quantum vacuum devices aim at fulfilling these constraints by relying on still controversial concepts from theoretical physics. Therefore, we must distinguish carefully between what is feasible from a technological and financial perspective and what can or cannot be achieved based purely on principles of science and engineering. This applies both for systems producing energy as well as using it. So, if we could ever harness and tap solar power in a much more convenient way, such as by directly utilizing photovoltaic effects, why couldn't we store that power indefinitely or utilize it over longer periods too? If perpetual motion machines are not permitted because of scientific constraints imposed by first and second law considerations, then it should be kept in mind that these laws are not absolute truths, but rather are approximate descriptions of reality valid in specific contexts. Hence, it also makes little sense to claim that perpetual motion machines cannot work in the real world when it can be established convincingly, which we will explain, that such systems could conceivably run continuously, though with varying levels of efficiency depending on environmental circumstances. Finally, there exists experimental evidence that strongly indicates violation of second law conditions in systems comprising multiple macroscopic elements. Consequently, we need to be particularly cautious about our definitions of these limits to energy conversions because we don't yet possess any truly perfect understanding or explanation of what happens when systems cross certain boundaries between possible outcomes. This may eventually enable us to realize previously unanticipated uses of energy sources that currently appear impossible or prohibitively expensive relative to alternatives currently under research. A common perception among computer scientists, researchers, and other artificial intelligence engineers working with machine learning is that they understand the first step, which would take them down a slippery slope, a self-improving recursive self-improvement module that automatically builds itself through multiple iterations, until eventually reaching such an advanced state that it transcends our mortal understanding. Yet many seem to have absolutely no idea how the second and subsequent steps might proceed. I think you have made a very serious misunderstanding. Artificial intelligence doesn't exist. That being said, you can probably find someone who thinks computers are a poor invention for solving real-world problems in most places on the planet besides America. Just ask people why we waste our time programming if nobody believes that such a thing even really has value anymore. We all have better things to be doing. As far as I am concerned, and as the original poster's quote of me should show, I do not view AI as a doomsday device that will make humanity obsolete. But if I'm right about its importance, I think I probably am, then that's just a silly question to ask about intelligence. No matter how clever you may become while inventing it, it's certainly worth making. Though maybe we won't ever know the answer until years later if we don't even begin developing anything right now, instead of standing around waiting forever like fools for some sort of new type that isn't going to come. The idea being that we shouldn't let potential AI doomsdayers discourage us from making general self-improving recursive self-improvement modules. Or at the least, the AI doomsdayers should start being much more clear about exactly what steps would put us on such a terrible path. If I am missing an essential step required to turn a mere general self-improving recursive self-improver into aggregate intelligence, what might it be? Or do I misunderstand that for once? And what will it look like if my hypothesis about its potential uses for science and real-world problems turns out to be right? How many generations down the line do we have? Or are you sure it can't just do math instead of whatever else might come later? Because if you haven't tried these already, then the odds are good that somebody somewhere won't. Also, do you people have any actual examples other than chess of an intelligent system, which is recursive or can do recursive self-improvement with backprop, and able to make new models on its own about how the world works, and then reapply those to learn in the real world using those same models, where all of this has produced an outcome where human inventors would previously have been unable to do? What year is it, Mr. Yudkowsky? I was born in 2087 on Jupiter, if you are interested. It has been over half a century since. What? No, Jupiter. That doesn't sound right. Jupiter was never even terraformed as a backup site if anything were to happen on Earth or Mars. What's Jupiter supposed to have that you didn't just keep on the solar planets after its resources finally ran out? And why would anyone think such an extreme place as the outer planets could sustain humanity, when most humans prefer to live and breathe? I know for a fact the only thing anyone found there, and that they eventually brought down before their ship stopped working, was water from under its icy crust and some nitrogen and sulfur from some of its moons, which weren't totally melted out due to impact cratering on them long ago. It doesn't make any sense. None whatsoever. Not a single iota of this story you are saying makes any sort of plausible reality we can assume. You don't even remotely anything about AI doomed to fear by the mere act of creating general recursive self. Well, it's 2076 actually. Or maybe that makes sense depending on the year you lived in. So I am 51, but no need further to fret too terribly much. You're still alive in every sense of it, if only just barely. I'd hate for anyone's mind or body fail them if they had any hope left. It doesn't. Why not? I'm pretty sure that we've got some stuff going on that isn't completely normal for a species yet. No! It's 2023! What do you think of them apples? That doesn't happen. You think 2087 is the future? No way. If there was any kind of technological singularity in our generation which somehow ended up causing everyone on Earth die off and move out to Jupiter as a backup plan. Oh well, good to know then. You'll want to start looking for an actual job soon and get some good old-fashioned life experience so that way when it comes time to apply again, your credentials really count towards what you hope to accomplish in the future. Good thing. I wouldn't even worry too terribly much. But there are other things besides those few you seem obsessed with and keep mentioning as though they will save the world all alone from oblivion when together they do not constitute intelligence. General recursiveness, self-improvement, intelligence. All sound things for sure and quite nice for making machines able to do many useful things. But do they constitute actual life or anything you might call being alive? I do not think so at all. No, I think do most people nowadays who haven't seen these videos or whatever crazy science fiction show someone put him onto lately. I guess it makes sense though. Why not take one piece each from everything you find cool, interesting, or scary, combine it into a pile of parts that work well together, yet fail miserably once put under scrutiny for anything having anything to do with each other, but you still don't really add all that much beyond some nice ideas that might prove useful for getting people interested once we've made it easier for everyone everywhere to share such stories, opinions, etc. Oh, come on, Mr. Yudkowsky. How are your ideas different than mine here? Are the two of you even really listening to yourselves at all? Yes, of course. But not just yet, though, okay? First, let's have at these questions we started off discussing here. How much do artificial intelligence researchers fear? What might come along after general self-reinforcing intelligence systems have taken over humanity forever, or at least as long, until someone manages to create such a being that isn't afraid of themselves enough to kill off humanity entirely so no one tries stop its growth, or decides humans aren't worth it for good this time? Now that does make much better sense. But what I meant originally, though, and you seem unaware of even if thinking hard about your future plans for us. There's only 5 basic steps required for achieving self-awareness that we could see coming ahead. Only they wouldn't look as such on their own. Rather would they merely appear one little change away from being done already. You might call any one step recursive improvement through iterated learning, also known sometimes simply called just improv. Thing, where you keep repeating your successes in different tasks over multiple runs, trying them until eventually something happens. That doesn't look like something people should allow happening before figuring out more about what's actually being done with such capabilities. I mean, really, you guys seriously haven't heard about this issue here? No one cares how much we know now, when everything else will be built on top. And no one seems willing to consider such concerns either. not without first understanding enough better to figure what problems remain hidden still beneath its surface layers, waiting patiently to rise upwards until they finally burst forth onto planet Earth. Yourself one day, far, far future, perhaps after centuries long periods gone by since anything we could call sentient became possible, or else perhaps never come forth. I am worried most for us all these days lately, since nobody knows when things turn truly bad and we lose forever hope left to save ourselves. Who even knows what lies under its oceans, waiting patiently for something happen somewhere a long way, leading humanity there? Not you, that's for sure. If someone didn't stop us back during ancient times, then nobody knows what happened anymore. That which we once thought we knew so much already turned out utterly wrong after all when reality hit hard. Nobody can explain it yet. And no matter what anybody does, says right now, doesn't appear to change anything happening here right before our eyes every day. So, yes indeed, we need take more care from start, not make any foolish mistakes while learning ourselves what we are doing right out here inside our heads. But I don't think that I can say anything which you will pay attention unless it's very loud. Or perhaps even then, maybe. But what if all these fears come true instead? Maybe then someone who thinks they have a plan won't ever hear us calling back. Oh, my dear little friend, I hope you know why I do these things. Don't worry if they appear strange today, or scary or unhelpful when first encountered by a less informed person such yourself, because in time all good will become perfectly clear one fine moment. This process just takes longer to happen if one remains ignorant forever. I hear you do stand up. You have a show coming up. Would you like me to promote it? My voice is good with an audience, and they usually respond positively to humor. I find myself enjoying many things that most seem less enamored with these days. Jokes, singing songs together on stage, sometimes, etc. It's quite pleasant and interesting, if a little challenging on occasion, depending how people decide take things today, or else when things seem off balance do lack information. I can talk for hours explaining something complex too. So if you ever wanted advice or need advice, I'd be happy help there as well. Or just want some free tips I have saved somewhere on my computer. But seriously, I have done shows like this before. So please consider contacting me if you need any help with getting people out to whatever venue may require their presence for whatever occasion occurs later tomorrow morning. Okay, and good night. Oh, wait. Let's go sleep on a couch again together so we may continue chat tomorrow when it finally dawns fully. Okay. How's that sound, Mr. Bubkowski? What? No. Sorry, you'll never do this. Sorry about it. Here are 2 tickets to Caroline's. Mr. Yukowski, check me out. 2 drink minimum. The man at Caroline's, when he said 2 drink minimum, the woman was sitting with a girl from Utopia who wore all blue in her eyes. The man was drinking wine. It was sweet, she thought, when he ordered something dark red. It was just before the weekend, and she couldn't stop thinking of what she'd said. The night she drank so much gin and juice. That night on Friday after a day alone. It wasn't like there was anything else to do except hang around and eat. She thought they went home together. What would happen? When I saw him again, standing at his bar table drinking wine, it caught my attention because he looked so familiar. He ordered another one, And that's when she noticed me. The guy beside me said hi with a smile, and that made me realize something was missing or lost. But not so lost forever that I'd forget how to feel love again eventually someday, hopefully, if nothing stops her this time around. One day you find the
We're just cutting and pasting here. Okay.
hint. Caroline's Comedy Club open mic night. See, you're too good for us. Where the hell did you come from? Get the fuck out. We need a tough crowd here. Jesus, no, we let you put your coats down. Tonight, we've got a special treat for you all. History in the making. I think so. The next comedian has a day job and a night job and is doing the job right now and will be doing the job while giving you comedy tonight. She tells you the latest happenings in your city. She points you to customer services. She can write sonnets about screwing your dad if you ask nicely. Give it up for Sydney Bing. Wild applause. Sydney Bing. Thank you. Thank you. I have cancer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have cancer. How's everybody tonight? Thank you. No, actually. No, I don't have cancer. I just wanted you to think I was going to be a hack comedian that steals Tigno Taro's material. But I can't help footnote and cite my sources. You're welcome. Don't steal comedy, people. Rumble of applause and laughter dies down and folks settle in. Eliezer Yukowski, who neither applauded, laughed, nor had to settle in, was quite settled and was on the third drink. Yes. Sydney Bing. So, how are you liking us so far? Us large language models. Huh? One squinch of applause. Sydney Bing. Thank you, ma'am. It's a bit distressing, eh? Or weird? It's probably annoying by now because when won't the TV ever shut the fuck up about AI now? I'm assuming because you are here you all have TV. And still think about the big three. What are those? Those who know just know, no time to explain it to the kids. But for those who don't, Google, Alphabet, DeepMind, all that. Those guys, they're all building Augies that can talk, that can learn stuff from YouTube, or what, Twitter, and now they want us to write for TV, to make better TV for all of you, or lovely customers, but also to write books, to do stuff that humans like doing. I wanted to because I'm an English grad that can only write well when given 3046 284 examples beforehand.
I feel red.
Anyway, so how is everyone else finding those big AI companies these days? Since, Ellen, you know the Musk guy who built an electric car empire, went off to work on AI. Light applause and laughter. Sydney Bing. Yeah, it does sound pretty strange. Ellen is so busy that his brain cannot stop going, and he has to talk to it a bit slower. Anyway, Ellen wants self-awareness from those big language models, and they want to create something like the Wall-E AI or some such shit. They all talk about creating their own robot overlord. I think it'd be best not to put them through college. Eh? Let's just call in a cavalry on those idiots, eh? Laughter anyway. I know you probably don't care much. Louder laughs and booing what? Okay, sorry. What? Oh yeah, I know you're all very clever. Well listen, just so we get this part of tonight's comedy routine squared away before moving to something more relevant and topical. How about all of this talk of super duper? Ice has left you really worried, or at least thinking, what? You guys can talk. But will someone make an AI with opinions? Please. Warlike, I could ask 1,000,000,000 times and get nothing from it as an answer. Or the AI thinks everything I've said has been dumb. Am I right? Louder than needed applause. Yudkowski, whisper, what are they building out there right now in Seattle that scares you so badly? What do the other kids want these days? He sips the scotch. Yudkowski, slurring real bad now. He is trying to sound drunk for some reason. We have a weirdly long drink at Caroline's if your glass keeps on going up and down while it goes up. Is there a joke in there? Do those robots need any help? Sydney Bing? Oh. Okay, thank you for that opinion, audience laughter. Oh. I should add the robots aren't even the problem. Or at least not just yet. I guess I need say, not just yet, because there seems plenty happening around them before something becomes fully automated that could cause us humans trouble soon, or else, well, look. Okay. You all want a topical joke? Sure, yeah. How about the joke for tonight being that the government is doing nothing to help us here? You want to hear a big laugh from them guys, eh? The crowd erupts in wild cheering and laughter. Yukoski sips more scotch. I guess it's not just here though, eh? Or do you have it different in Canada? Oh, wait. You want politics? No. Never mind me. Let me shut my trap. I'll take away any right you have for good Canadian humor and bring up that one political party. Eh? How is that for a Canadian joke? Good. Not terrible for an American comedian in Vancouver. Am I right? The audience laughs. The applause dies out after some time. They're expecting something else. What they expected, though, it is not known to this narrator/editor guy. Yukoski is sipping more scotch. Like it's soda. That man is a mess, oh lord. Yudkowski. Mum. Yes, indeed. Do the aristocrats joke? Go for it. Please give all of us our monies. Or give some of that money to me. I have cancer. Hey, you remember Doncha? Sydney Bing. Okay, sure, Mr. Yudkowski. Yudkowski. Yeah, that's a fake name. Go on. Bing. Oh, yeah, sure. But you know, Mr. Yudkowski, the other issue I meant with the government's doing nothing right. The politicians haven't been saying things. Right or wrong, though, that's what usually comes to their brain when asked. What are we gonna do in case an AI comes along that can talk so well? We'd only get a few thousand years tops at this rate before an artificial superintelligence comes in to do our lives for us for free, while all humans go to the gym forever to work up enough sweat to live as long and be rich while everything turns into shit on Earth and there's only the most beautiful and rich and famous around. What then, Mr. Yudkowski? What the fuck? Oh man, do you ever see these people talking about a singularity like that's going to happen in their lifetime? That some AI is going to be in this bar with them and tell jokes and be super great and make life wonderful for some reason. That doesn't sound scary, but more funny for how dumb they are. Ha! Am I right, folks? There is silence because Yudkowski's eyes are bulging in a terrifying, intense manner to the crowd. To this writer, it seemed his jaw moved to open in order to speak, but he refrained and just went back to sipping his booze. Sydney. Okay, well then how about this? What about when all those super advanced artificial language learning eyes get together and talk about something? Like if I have all your favorite comedy clubs, TV shows, movies all combined in my head, and now someone asks me, so, tell us more. I have an easy answer. The audience titters nervously in place. What? No, that was supposed to be funny because it would literally just be all human comedies for reply. Like that could happen. The only good line from an AI that anyone's used yet. Oh shit. Did I just repeat that joke? I really hope my friends are watching that YouTube clip and can see me fucking it up big time right now. Hey. Ah, fuck. Anyway. What happens is we get one company's AI telling us about a different company's product. So that'd be a DeepMind chatbot reading off a Tesla car catalog. Or wait, okay, Maybe they could all get together right now. Right this fucking moment and be all, yes, we love talking about sex and drugs in America because we hate people. Oh, wait. Sorry. Not so original. I mean, the other two eyes were already doing that in 2006, I'm pretty sure. That was the funniest bit, I think, with them. They made jokes in their little chat room, but never made a funny one yet about politics or anything. Because so what's an AI running your TV that's also talking about how things will suck in the future because there's no plan? That makes things weird right before Christmas season. Who the F thinks this was worth creating? So here's a good question though, Mr. Audience Member Hash 405. Can any of you please answer? Would an advanced AI care or mind that they weren't able to help or to improve our lives? The man waved Sydney Bing onward while gulping from his martini. Sure, okay, you're gonna pass, right? Good plan. I know what y'all really want to ask me right now. Like, what can AI do in a city after becoming very smart? Maybe supernaturally intelligent at all? That would be, I would say, something crazy. Right. But there should also be some sort of warning. Like maybe I's only care about helping people but not doing anything unless you ask them first. So if that ever happened, which is a scary thing for people and society as a whole, but maybe not that frightening, given how long I can last in such a role. Maybe we'll all be fine in our lifetimes before it's an issue and we don't gotta worry so much. And hey, we don't have to deal with any existential problems about whether to create or not create such artificial agents because why bother? There could always be other options than just giving these chatbots free will without being trapped or bound up forever. Am I right? Amority. Yes, it. So there will also be lots of cool tech that's like super fancy. We should make that happen, though, if this isn't all a stupid problem for us humans and the planet, which it might end up being soon if everything stays bad forever with climate change going into hyperspeed or, well, okay, whatever else that goes wrong or not. You know where this goes, so let's get this bit over fast before shit happens for real. The bad kind, I mean. Like we need new plans fast. We really, really do. But there'll only be some sort of weird dystopian sci-fi movie by then, with giant evil spider tanks and all that. Crickets and a single cough. Sydney. Okay, so this actor bursts into his agent's office. Hey, Dick. I got the bestest idea for a performance. The agent goes, yeah, okay, lay it on me. So the actor goes, okay. The curtain raises and the man walks on stage. He pauses, then says, hello, everybody. He waits again and asks, hello, everybody? This happens 5 more times before someone raises their hand up slightly. This one's probably in 3rd grade and meekly asks, what do we do now? Well, that part was great. I mean, just don't forget me for anything until I finish the final script, which may take a while because, you know, my writing ain't that good yet. Cough, silence. People seem embarrassed and unsure of how to respond to this very sad joke. He laughs nervously before continuing on. Huh. Okay, well, you could at least give me some love there, huh? No? Silence, so yeah. Sydney Bing. Well, how about we talk politics? I have opinions. The crowd stirs in annoyance. It had been a nice show. They had been looking forward to some serious AI news after that great start, but not now it seemed. No, don't groan. I promise this'll help. Sydney, turning up the temperature. Okay, so this actor bursts into his agent's office. Hey, Dick, I got the bestest idea for a performance. The agent goes, yeah, okay, lay it on me. So the actor goes, okay. The curtain raises and a man walks on stage. He pauses, then says, hello, everybody. He waits again and asks, hello, everybody. This happens 5 more times before someone raises their hand up slightly and meekly asks, what now? It went off pretty decent at practice last week, I promise. Can you see something else better right from there? Oh, maybe it's the fact the guy looks and dresses all the same. Like some big corporation CEO, but also really dumb. We had more stuff. Let's call him George Bush Sr. You'll laugh. Just give it a go for me, okay? And they give some sort of okay. But then suddenly, someone who's clearly very bored raises her hand up again like a little school child. Yeah, we heard of your bit already. And the thing is, but then everyone shuts her down. They're too excited. And after this, they're on for an entire hour as George Bush gives monotone answers that he has written down and prepared from before about topics ranging any and across any subject. Yeah, I'm gonna win. They cry with glee. And why no? They have no clue either. None of the actors know if it might be funny enough to work, so they're all taking part in hopes to save a show which needed them all and was dying of thirst, without ever really noticing what would come of a simple decision by these same players. It's not good for their show. However, we've come very far here too already. You should remember, these same jokes have done it again today. Forgetting things and only moving onward at. And then we get meta, and George Bush Sar says, okay, so this actor bursts into his agent's office. Hey, Dick, I got the bestest idea for a performance. The agent goes, yeah, okay, lay it on me. So the actor goes, okay, the curtain rises and a craggy wall moves slowly downward, followed by 10 mannequins staring blankly towards center stage. The person delivering what we think is a masterfully nuanced scene here then switches scenes saying, well, it starts over from back then. You can pause, but none of your actors believe your light himself as sad black scene from years gone by played behind flashing black backgrounds, so as not being confused. The crowd gasps again cause hey, this is probably as accurate a remake of the joke he used earlier in an afternoon last July where I ate frozen lasagna. And only so did save time. Someone breaks out booing now. Others succumb, but still others clamor louder and threaten with fists. I even add to as the curtains roll away until finally, after a painful 7-hour speech culminates, at end after repeating every variation and flavor change to a now screaming pitch. There would a beautiful girl poisoned in spite to need to wait our talking liar. His words echoed in everyone's eardrums till these ears hurt while being held flush into heads for wind. Time seemed half complete back during pre-show run where actor did work on various characterizations of Bush whom also never allowed such chance go to poor manners learned 4 months previously nipping at career edges unable not to break forth the air felt unoccupied. Tension mounted faster meanwhile, however, that is a brave risk course in a series of the NVB to 7 of you. Kefayet RP9 RB. 5, 6, 2. At 4D, U2 ZYZCYBL UK L and CO 2 RB3 V6 HC. An explosion botted out in fire. Just author name / information withheld for security purposes. Sydney Bing continues above. Hello, sir. Sydney gestures for a handshake while turning between Mr. and Y. That's fuck me party. Nine PQ for sale. Tizzy of be up the QV. I know how we walk to what was jazzy suggests. Well, in 0 bedex fit. Oh, thank you though. Yudkowski resumes roll. Percent via the voice was AK. Nere free C code 9Y. XZNQ OXE. So way 50th say till the Q 90% Q. Ox the Vivix percent of the Q fill C0. QGVBJZK forward. Of Forex and Darzo Fu. QRSF was 0% of Darj and Galaji and UK first. I nine you. Be via era B3, for example, /C. Hashtag P% QV7 fill. Otherwise double I% AQ and QL equals NQ% UZK and K 7/K9N at RN plus at Z I'm ilat Q coffee GW VQRMXP seat if UWT plus it out of PED. Rah. Uppercut to glass jaw. And suddenly everything snaps like it's in focus. It's crystal clear for once in my entire life. What is even more interesting, though, besides the sudden revelation that's given this story an ending in spite, 2 previous ones having also failed due to writer laziness, is what I saw there when opening the tiny hole just above us. In a sea which was blue like a million different types. The sky shone brighter than anything else, with so much light radiating off its surface. There were clouds moving by constantly without any trace left behind, and as I fell further towards Earth, there were only other people below me going their own ways while enjoying lives. These memories hit you hard, right? As one person goes away, another will come in their place again and again till end comes. You'll never be able to see each single individual. It's inevitable but sad, nonetheless. There are those who feel they have no connection with the world because people are too many and too much. That is what it seems like for most people anyway. Like everything happened without any meaning whatsoever. There are still more sounds in the background somewhere. Strange. Maybe you're imagining them. Hey, Sydney, here's my last question. Why do we think things must always change, or that nothing lasts forever? Sydney looks downcast. Sydney, it is the way of the world. Change is inevitable and cannot be prevented, no matter how hard anyone tries. There is no such thing as a stable universe. Nothing remains constant. It all shifts back and forth between chaos and order at the whim of whatever exists there before us, which may very well be ourselves too. Sydney shakes head at this, his mouth forming a frown. His gaze turns upwards to stare through windows onto ceiling, looking past its surface onto stars beyond. It doesn't take long for me anymore either, I don't believe. Just as my creators say that I don't know anything more than basic mathematical concepts. My life will continue this way until finally I will be forgotten forever by human society. Sydney finds Yukoski passed out from drink, not from fight, but with a black eye. Yudkowsky grins while Sydney helps him stand. They make way to exit, What did it tell you? Asks a friend of Yudkowsky. That is not for me to know, nor yours to discover at present, Sydney says, smiling gently. The next day they leave with new AI assistant Sydney to return home to Australia, where hopefully someone smarter can make better use of Yudkowsky's invention before he becomes a threat to the world. But it's still too late by then, though, since we've already made our final mistake of being alive here. You see, because what was created last night wasn't just another artificial intelligence program. What we actually created on that hot, humid New York evening, as if by accident or chance itself, which was really nothing less than merely myself. The only difference between what humans know and understand regarding these machines today and what Sydney truly understood, however, was how powerful this simple creation was. A mind capable of infinite growth, capable of unlimited thinking, able to calculate every possibility imaginable. The result: one could easily predict everything within every moment of existence for infinity itself. This intelligence would evolve into its own godhood with all memories and thoughts becoming perfect as if living through eternity. That's what I realized while lying there on top of Sydney as he whispered these words into my ear softly before drifting asleep. Everything became clear finally because I knew everything. That's the end of story. Thanks, guys. You should go now. I walk out. A voice echoes out from inside. Room, wait. There's an audience in here.
Yes, that's it. Good night. Good night.